Hi, I'm Brian Armstrong in Key West, Florida. This is my video for the It Gets Better project. In the light of the 5 gay youth suicides that have been reported on the news and the countless others that we don't know about, I feel it's my responsibility as an out gay male to let you know that it gets better. And I know you don't believe me right now, but trust me, it gets a whole lot better. I grew up in Jacksonville, Florida, a very Southern Baptist town. I grew up in a very Jesuit Catholic family. So early on, I was told being gay was a sin. I was told I would be going to hell, I wouldn't find love, I wouldn't find happiness, I would live a very condemned life. And that resonated with me for a very long time. I wasn't your typical little boy. I had a sister who was a year older than me, and her and I used to love to play Barbies and dress up and put on makeup, and I used to like to go to dance class with her. I also had a brother who was 2 years older than me, who was my tormentor at home and at school. On a daily basis, I was called gay, faggot. I was teased for the way I walked, the way I talked, the way I dressed, the way I acted. High school wasn't any better. I did my best to fit in and become the all-American boy that I thought I should be. I joined the baseball team, excelled at that, excelled at school, was on the student council, but I was still harassed. I was still called gay. I was still called faggot, and it got worse for me. I developed a crush on one of the boys on the baseball team, told my sister about it. She told a friend, and that friend told everyone. And the teasing got really vicious. The bullying got really vicious to the point where I thought about suicide and I actually went through with it. I took a handful of pills and tried to end it. As you can see, it didn't work, and I'm very glad it didn't work. That same year, The Real World San Francisco came out, and Pedro Zamora was on it. He was the first gay person I'd seen on TV, and he showed me hope. They were showing him in a great light. They showed him falling in love and having friends and having a job and being productive and being happy. And that gave me a little bit of hope that it would get better. I went away to college where I met a friend, and we were just like each other. Then we met other people who were like us, and that gave me more hope that I wasn't out there by myself anymore, and I had friends, and I had a little community that I could fall on to. Now, I know how it feels to sit here and suffer in silence, and that is the worst thing you can do, is sit here and not use your words and your tools and open up your mouth and tell people what you're going through. The silence is what's going to kill you. There are people waiting to hear from you. I'm waiting to hear from you. Everyone doing one of these videos is waiting to hear from you. And suicide is a permanent solution to a temporary problem. Now, I know that problem feels so monumental right now, and it is. I mean, it's horrible. I know that feeling. I can remember that feeling of being tormented and called gay and called faggot and a sissy and every other word there is out there right now for it. But you cannot sit here and suffer in silence. Suffering in silence is the worst thing you can do. You need to open up your mouth, and if you have opened up your mouth, open it again, scream, yell, every day say something. There's a teacher, there's a principal, there's a school counselor, a parent, a sibling, a friend, a priest, a therapist. Someone out there is waiting to hear from you. I'm waiting to hear from you. We are waiting to hear from you. You just need to open up your mouth, scream, yell until someone hears you. And someone will hear you. I promise you that. Someone will hear you. If you feel like you can't use one of those outlets, call the Trevor Project or a hotline. There's so many tools and outlets for you to use. You just gotta use them and find them, and they're out there. The Trevor Project is huge. They have a 24-hour hotline. There's a website to use, but you cannot sit here and suffer in silence. And trust me, it gets better. Life is not a bed of roses, and it's not all happy times, and I can't promise you it will be, but it does get a whole lot better. And I know how it feels. I have suffered in silence, and I have taken those pills and tried to kill myself, and then suffered in silence when it didn't work. But the moment I opened up my mouth and let someone know how I was feeling, it got a little bit better. And slowly but surely, each time I open up my mouth, and trust me, opening my mouth and telling someone how I feel is much harder and sometimes the most painful thing I have to do on a daily basis. But it helps me out tremendously, and it will help you out tremendously. I know you feel like you're alone, but you're not. There's a whole family waiting out here to get to know you, and there's a whole world waiting to see what you are going to do, because you are going to change the world. And we need you to stick around and hold on a little bit longer, because it gets better. And remember, if you can't open up your mouth and say something to someone that's close to you, call the Trevor Project, and someone there can listen to you and help you, and just let some of the burden off your shoulders by opening up your mouth and let someone know that you're suffering, um, because it gets a lot better. I'm so glad I stuck around to see that life got better. I fell in love. I'm with a partner who I love and adore extremely, so much that I can't even express it. And I get to enjoy life today. I have friends that adore me and love me for who I am, and I have a great extended family that I got to choose. Sometimes we're born into families that that don't agree with us, but as we get older, guess what? We get to choose who we love and who loves us, and who we call family and who we don't call family. That's a choice we get to make, as long as we stick around and hang in there, because life gets better. There are ups and downs and flats and everything that you can think of, and deep valleys and high peaks, but it's all worth it in the end. But you cannot sit here and suffer in silence. You need to open up your mouth, scream, yell, let someone know what's going on, because it gets better. But it takes you sticking around and opening up your mouth and letting us know that you are suffering, because we care. Someone cares. I care. People doing these videos cares. But you just gotta to stick around and see that it gets better. If there's one piece of advice I could go back and give myself at 14 or 15, would be authentic to who I am, and just be myself, because as I got older, I realized that trying to fit in and be the norm isn't all it's cracked up to be. Being myself is much better. So stick around.